Hey everybody, welcome back to CAF's Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Babbitt, co-founder of the Challenged Athletes Foundation. Every week, I get to interview one of the most amazing challenged athletes on the planet. This week is no different. Our guest, Mr. Eric McElvenny, joins us fresh off of a sixth place at the Paralympics in Tokyo. How you doing, E?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks so much for having me on, Bob.
Always a pleasure. And when you were racing in Tokyo, you were racing on one of the coolest bikes on the planet, a Canyon bike. And also joining us is the president and COO of Canyon USA, Mr. Blair Clark. What'd you think of the Canyon, first of all, Eric?
I loved it. It was everything happened really quickly. So I was only on it for a month and a half before I competed at the Paralympics on it. And it's fast. It helped.
Yeah, I bet it did. And so for Blair, we go back a lot of years. We go through Smith, through GU, Giro, Specialized.
Yeah.
A lot of different companies.
I can't hold a job, Bob. That's my problem.
I know, right? It's like, what the hell, dude? Why don't you figure out how to keep a job? So when you think back all during when you went to Canyon, and up until that point, if you wanted to buy a bike, you went to a bike shop. You guys were sort of changing the game where people were buying direct from the company and you guys are delivering it, and still obviously needing a bike shop to do parts and everything and service, but still creating a brand new way to do business in the cycling industry. What were your thoughts when you were first approached with that?
Well, it's a little bit daunting because I came from a background, selling to the mom and pop retail structure of whether it's bikes or outdoor or ski or nutrition. And, because I had friends in all those different industries, I didn't want to be the German company that comes over and, puts people out of business. And I wanted to be clear that we were codependent, that is to say, to your point, Bob. And first, Bob, thank you for having me on. And Eric, pleased to meet you. A big admirer of anybody who's really focused and turned their life around like you've done. It's just outstanding. But and I want to hear more about it. But to answer Bob's question, I said, listen, I can't take this job unless we can be good citizens of the industry. So let's join People for Bikes because they invest in getting more people on bikes more often and helping create cycling infrastructure with federal, state and local money. Let's join the International Mountain Bike Association so that we help, people who are building trails and infrastructure. Let's join what used to be called the Outdoor Industry Women's Coalition, which is now called Camber Outdoors, that empowered women in the outdoor industry. And let's join NICA, the Interscholastic Cycling Association, and then we can have a seat at the table. And then let's make it clear to the bike shops that we aren't here to take away business because we can expand the pie, and hopefully they'll get a customer from us that wants the service, that wants the high touch fit, adjustments to make sure that you're optimizing comfort and power on the bike, and that they provide the service and the accessories. So it's worked well so far. So.
Well, and like I mentioned, we've worked together with a number of different companies. So you were very familiar with Challenged Athletes Foundation when we first approached you, and speaking of all the different charities you've been involved with, the CEF became part of your game as well because you've been taking care of our athletes.
Yeah, Bob, but you're also an angel. You've been a connector to help me find my way through the fog of the triathlon world and a lot of other worlds. And you're just a great advocate. So thank you.
So Eric, in terms of, we're talking 2011, December 2011, you're on your third tour of duty. You're in Afghanistan and step on IED. And what I always tell people is obviously the most important thing is to get back into sports as quickly as possible to avoid that spiraling depression. Talk about how quick your journey was, because December 2011, you lose your leg. I think by February, you already had a prosthetic leg. And by the spring, you were doing your first triathlon.
Yeah, no, it was quick. And I'm grateful that I had people around me that pushed me in that direction. And I'm grateful that my paths crossed with Challenge Athletes Foundation, basically within weeks of being injured. But yeah, so I was injured December 9th, 2011, and I stood up on my first prosthetic leg. It was February. It was exactly 2 months. It was like February 9th, 2012. And, that's, everything went so quick. But what happened, or what really helped, is I had set a goal to finish an Ironman triathlon, and that was going to be my rehab. And so since I had that goal, like I had a reason to recover really quickly, because I wanted to accomplish this goal. And that's where CAF swooped in and basically guided me along the way. I met you early on, and I did my first sprint triathlon in August. So it was 8 months after my injury.
8 months after injury. And a year after that, like in the following October, you did Kona?
It was 22 months from exploding to running Kona, which was just the experience of a lifetime. It was so cool. I didn't know what I didn't know. It was a lot, and it was a journey. It was amazing.
And what's your Ironman PR now?
10:23, I believe. I really want to go sub 10. Like that's kind of the goal.
Has any single baloney amputee gone sub 10?
Yeah. There's a 9:57 Rivaldo Martins.
Rivaldo Martins, that's
right.
right.
Yeah, and he so that's kind of it. And Paul Martin is like a 10:13 or low 10s as well. So it's just, and that's like when I saw that, because my initial goal was to finish an Ironman, and then I saw what these guys are doing, and I was like, oh my goodness, how are they doing this? And slowly, it's a process, but you keep chipping away at it, and all of a sudden you're in the mix, and you're it's possible with the support of so many people.
The transition from, because normally if you're a 5K runner, you move to 10K, eventually the marathon, and in triathlon you go from sprint to Olympic to full. But Blair and I both know that going the opposite direction, being a long distance person, and then to try to get speed, to go back to the drawing board and going, okay, now I'm going to do a half-mile swim and a 12.3-mile bike ride and a 5K run, and I'm going to be on the rivets the entire time. That is a totally different game. How was that transition from long to short when you decided, in 2018, 19, that you're going to go for the Paralympics?
Yeah, it was beginning of 2019. Jamie Brown, my buddy, he actually talked me into it. He said, hey, let's both try to qualify for Tokyo. And I was like, man, I don't know. I would describe the process, that transition, as fun. It was hard. It was that first race I did with him. It was a painful hour and a couple minutes where you experience a different pain in Ironman, but this was just like for an hour and some change. It is just, it's painful. But I really enjoyed the process of transitioning training to getting that speed and to doing some more intervals. And it was new, and new is challenging, and challenge is fun.
So Blair, when you take over here and bring a new bike into this country, how was it just getting people to accept? You're obviously you're selling, you're different than a bike shop, but you're still selling a brand that most people in the U.S. don't know. What helped people become aware of Canyon and then adapt to it? Because obviously you've become a big selling bike.
Well, first, the easy way was to follow the path of appealing to people who were already aware of us, right? From the Tour de France, from the mountain bike accolades, especially in enduro, mountain biking, and cross country. But at the end of the day, we had to make sure that we overcame what I call direct-to-consumer hurdles. The first of which is, how do I know what size I need? And so we have an algorithm and a system for that online. The second was, okay, well, where can I test ride one? I mean, we go to events and still a lot of people come to us and say, which bike shop near me sells Canyon? And we say, no one. We deliver it to your door, and you have 30 days to try it. And if you don't like it for any reason, put it back in the box, call us, and we'll issue a call tag to bring it back, give you a full refund, including freight both ways. And the third was, okay, where can I get this serviced? And so making sure that we had a list of bike shops or VeloFix to provide the services to put the bike together or to add other things to it. So those were the big objections, and we still get those, and we still have to be, approachable in how we market to people to make sure that they're comfortable with it. But it's not like we created the internet. we just drafted on the power of it because people were ready for this, right? Whether it's buying cars from Tesla or eyeglasses from Warby Parker, similar brands in their industries have disrupted the industry by selling direct. So
one of the biggest growth areas has been gravel.
Yeah.
A number of years ago, that when I look at the bike industry, that seems to be, well, that and e-bikes.
Those are the two. Yes, sir.
Yeah. How have you pivoted from tri and road and mountain to e and gravel?
Well, the gravel was pretty easy because it's an adjacency for roadies who are tired of, the intimidation of distracted drivers. And because the millennials, coming up wanted an adventure bike, they didn't want to just get stuck on the roads and wanted to go someplace and have some new experiences. So the first thing we did was we partnered with, as you know, Michael Marks, who developed the local race, the
Belgian waffle
race, and now has several iterations, became the title sponsor for that. Then we partnered with SBT Gravel to be a partner for them. And we looked for athletes, and we happened to luck into Pete Stetna, who I would say is remarkably the best gravel athlete on the planet. And, ironically, he comes from a family legacy who I'm sure you know, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
His uncle, Wayne, works at Shimano and has been there for, I don't know, maybe 20 years. And his father, Dale, both of them were national champions who I raced way behind. I was like way behind, if you couldn't see me, they were up there winning and I was way, way back there. And oftentimes not finishing the things that they were dominating. Anyway, gravel became easier as the business lifted and we had the right configuration of bike between the Grail and now the Grizzle. On the e-bike side, it's a little more challenging because first there's a side of the core rider who thinks, oh, that's cheating until you try one. And then you realize how much fun it is. And it's a question of when, not whether, you're going to get an e-bike, because it doesn't have to have, all the power. It just has to have some assistance, and it helps you to make the ride either faster or go further, for you as an athlete. And so we had to decide, how are we going to enter this market? Are we going to be an urban e-bike company, a cargo e-bike company, a mountain e-bike, a road e-bike? And so it turns out we chose to go after mountain first because we felt that was an extension of our persona. And every bike we've gotten our hands on, we've sold easily. And then we also did a Grail, a gravel e-bike, and that's been successful as well, though not as much of a market as the mountain e-bike business. So you'll see us transition to carrying all the categories that Germany has created, including all the types of bikes that I just mentioned. So
during COVID, obviously, every bike that's out there was being sold, right? It was getting product was probably the toughest. Has it loosened up? Is it starting to get better for you guys in terms of getting product from overseas?
Yes and no. The truth is that we have purchased, we have hard purchase orders out through 2024 for bikes, which seems crazy, but that's what the lead time is like today. And then there's been some, in the interim, shortage of containers and blocks to get through. Like at Long Beach, for example, there were 70 ships not too long ago that couldn't get unloaded because of longshoremen's unwillingness to spend time working on a weekend or evenings, which is understandable. But at the end of the day, it's slowly, breaking down and getting more efficient. But there'll be some hiccups in the supply chain. And, luckily, we're a big enough customer for the major sub-component suppliers, Shimano and SRAM specifically, and others, DT Swiss, that we're a top tier customer of theirs. And, we get allocation and preferential treatment going out. So, because we're also partnered with those guys on a bunch of different teams. So.
Love it. Hey, Eric, so what, for you coming off of Paralympics, what was that experience like? You'd obviously racing the biggest stage at the Ironman, but it's a little different when you're, this is worldwide television and there's not a lot of athletes out there. So the spotlight is pretty big. What was the Paralympic experience like for you?
It was big. It was bigger than I anticipated, because I was focused on race. Then you get out there and this is huge event, and I'm wearing USA across my chest, and it kind of came full circle for me, because I served our country in uniform as a Marine, and then all of a sudden I found myself representing our country as an athlete, and it was just like, wow, this is so cool. And it wasn't about me; it was about Team USA, and it was just like you said, the lights and everything. It was such a cool experience, and that's why I have to try it again. I have to continue to do this. I want to experience that again.
So Paris is the nice thing about, obviously there's no positive to COVID, but the fact that now you're only 3 years away from Paris, right? We lost a year, but now you're 3 years away.
Right, exactly. And that's it. It's already matters. Each and every race is going to matter as we get back into building up points and trying to qualify.
So Blair, what is your vehicle of choice now? Are you more on the gravel? Are you out on the mountain bike? Are you riding the roads?
Depends on the day, Bob. I try to create, a variety of different experiences, but and I even use an e-mountain bike on a rest day, because it's really active recovery. It feels like I'm on rollers, just kind of spinning, depending on how much assistance I engage in. Hey, I have a quick question for Eric, if I may, Bob. My question, Eric, is as an athlete, I'm really curious to know, which is more motivating for you? Because I heard you say you're very goal oriented at the start of this, but I'd like to understand, are you motivated by the competition, or are you motivated by, hey, I want to improve my personal best? I want self-improvement, or I want to crush the comp. And it's okay to be motivated by both. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just curious,
Yeah. That was actually the big, that's what I saw as the difference. When I was racing Ironman, I was kind of always chasing like my last race. And then when I hopped into this short course, para racing, the para triathlon, I noticed like, I don't care about my time at all. Like my time is my time, as long as it's a little bit faster than the next guy. So now I feel like I've missed this competition part, but that's what has me coming back to this short course stuff, is this, it's actually, it's a race. I gotta try to figure this out better than the guy who's starting to my right and left. So I think right now I'm really appreciating the competition, but of course it goes with self-improvement.
Sure.
Yeah. But I like the competition side of it.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, Blair, like it's great to meet you.
Likewise.
But now seeing you and meeting you, I kind of, Canyon, it has your personality. When I got a bike in like a week and a half, and the experience was very personalized and unique. And I was like, wow, this is some really cool service. And now I see like where it comes from. The Canyon has your personality.
Well, thanks. Yeah. You had the rare experience. There's a lot of people that had a bad experience, that we try to be, nice to all of them. And, at the end of the day, there's only so many bikes that we can get. And we just try to treat people with respect. So,
Eric, how do you balance? You got 3 kids, you're back home in Pittsburgh. I'm sure you got a lot of family there, and you're, training, and now you're gearing up for hopefully another Paralympic run.
Yeah. The balance is, I feel like I never have it perfect. It's like, I have the family and the training and working, and everything is there. And I'm just doing my best. I have the best teammate in the world, my wife, Rachel, and you've met her. She's absolutely amazing. And for her to support me the way she does to do these. And it's kind of funny because our family didn't go with us to Tokyo because of the pandemic. And after I got back, she said, I'm sorry, but you have to keep training. Like, I really want to go to Paris. So you're going to have to go, you're going to have to qualify so I can have this experience too.
We're all
That's
going to
awesome.
Paris. We've already made the plans. Blair's probably going to join us. Paris Paralympics 2024. Eric, December 2011, it's basically 10-year anniversary in a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
Of that. And look where your life has gone in that 10 years. You had, I don't know if you could spell the word triathlon back before you lost your leg. And look at what you've accomplished as an Ironman athlete, a Paralympian. When you look back at this journey, how do you look back at it?
I wouldn't want to go through that pain again. It was a hard couple months on myself and my family, but I don't think I would change a thing. This journey has been absolutely amazing. And it really is a team effort. It's when I was out in the Paralympics, I was racing as an individual, but it was an absolute team effort with Challenge Athletes Foundation being a big part of my team, with Canyon now being a big part of my team, with just everyone involved. Like, it's our journey, and I'm so grateful and fortunate to be on this ride.
Cool. Hey, Blair, I think Eric might be fun speaking to your team sometime.
That would be cool. Great, Eric. I would love to have you on, and you know what? I will reach back out to you to see if we could get you on. We have a town hall meeting, which is a total company meeting, and we try to bring an athlete or a team to every other one, and we go through, just like how you got into cycling or triathlon, and what your story is, and it's really inspiring. It's one thing that everybody really looks forward to and wants to know. Who's the guest this week? So it'll be fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, thank you.
Love it. Hey guys, thank you both for taking time to join me on Heroes of Sport. Blair, I appreciate all the support for CAF over the years. You've been awesome.
It goes both ways, Bob. Yeah, door swings both ways. Thank you.
And Eric, keep being part of our family, my man. We love having you part of the CAF family. What you've done in this last decade has been pretty damn amazing.
Eric, if you find your way out to Southern California, I want to shake your hand at some point. So
yeah, that'd be wonderful, Blair. And I get out there from time to time, so I'll definitely keep that in mind.
I would look forward to that. By the way, I lived in Pittsburgh as a young guy briefly. My dad worked at Westinghouse in the Triangle there briefly.
Okay. Yeah.
I have fond memories. So.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Again, my name is Bob Babbitt. This is CAF's Heroes of Sport. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks, boys.
Okay. Bye-bye.